Okay, so guys, I showed you that the flooding yesterday in the video yesterday, and I got at first I thought it was Japan, and I got confused about where it was coming from. Guess where it was coming from? It was coming from California. It was Newport Beach, California, and can you say king tides? Streets in the Balboa Peninsula section of Newport Beach were flooded with water on Friday afternoon after forecasters issued high surf warnings for the coast. Video from the scene captured rivers of water at least knee deep, if not higher in some spots, flooding the streets and partially submerging cars in the Peninsula Park area. A line of cars was trying to get through the inundated streets as pedestrians waded through the water. I'll show you a little video here. Or not that. Sorry. A pause for commercial. A sailboat was washed ashore by the strong currents and was being thrashed by the waves as a rescue teams responded to the beach. Witnesses say there were several people and a dog on board. They were rescued shortly before the sailboat smashed into pieces under the force of the powerful tide. Minutes later, only debris was left washing ashore. At least one bulldozer was seen picking up sand to either create a barrier or trenches in the sand to stop the water. Guys, this is king tide. This is something that we've been seeing in Miami. This is something that has been happening in Hawaii. Those are the two places I can think of right off the top of my head that are having frequent king tides that wash, either flood, downtown areas of major cities or wash away roads or wash away parts of the coast. I'm sure it's happening in other places on the globe. But king tide is not something that's necessarily a common happening in Southern California, even though I did read an article not too long ago. There's a spot on the San Diego coast where there are some very expensive homes that might actually go down due to sea level rise. But anyways, so can you say sea level rise? We're going to start seeing this more and more in cities around the planet and definitely in the United States. As sea level rises, whenever there is a strong high tide, you're going to see parts of major cities inundated, and smaller coastal cities as well. But this is climate change, Arctic sea ice and Antarctic sea ice melt on the rise. These are temperatures, high temperatures. I don't know if we're in exponential temperature rise yet, but we're definitely experiencing the gradual, steady rise of temperatures year after year after year. And what is that doing? That's creating the situation where sea level rise is going to accelerate. We're in an accelerated climate change situation. Temperatures are going to go up faster. Sea levels are going to rise faster. Floods, hurricanes, king tides, all kinds of extreme weather events are going to happen more and more. Every single year, they're going to go up, right? 1,000-year floods, 100,000-year-old floods, or whatever. 100,000-year-old floods, 100,000-year floods, right? Yes, Book Hermit, you're right. Actual rise is still in the low millimeters. However, you can see the obvious effects of sea level rise already. Miami has several king tides a year where the city is flooded out. Hawaii, there's a road that goes around the island of Oahu, the Cam Highway, that gets washed out because they have king tides frequently, and that washes out the roads. This is a thing that wasn't a thing just 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, I know you want to downplay it, but not so much, because it's something that's becoming an increasing problem over and over again. It doesn't matter what the measurements are. The effects of it are obvious, right? And that is salt water, exactly, Ed Ryan. You can also point to coastal sea erosion, sure. Or even, natural habitat the coastal estuaries being eroded. The normal habitat, flora that would be in place, things that would be in place that would hold back these tides are not there anymore because we've altered the coast. LC says lots of land on the East Coast have disappeared into higher sea levels over 30 to 40 years. Sure. I'm going to show you one more piece of footage from these Newport floods. And the commentary is pretty funny, but hold on. I'm trying to get it to come up. Pardon my slowness. So this is a woman. I guess her name is Amanda. Here, we'll watch this. I don't know if I can get it to play. Here we go. Or maybe I won't get it to play. I don't know if you guys can see that, but.
That's my Jeep. That's my Jeep.
There was like everything from the.
Oh my God, that's my Jeep. That's my Jeep. I'm sorry. It's just too easy. Anyway, she says, you do have to be freaking kidding me. What's happening in Newport Beach right now? Newsom shuts us down, including our beaches, and waves and water flood the peninsula. What's happening? She hashtags QAnon. Yeah. QAnon, those idiots all think that climate change is a hoax, and that's why QAnon is, not necessarily always to be believed on many levels, but, because how can you explain this? What's happening? She asks and hashtags QAnon. Somebody says it's called full moon high tide, morons. The area is prone to flooding on high tides. So, this guy has a Make America Green Again hat. And we're gonna assume this person knows about climate change. However, she says you clearly don't live here, so you don't know what you're talking about. If you've ever been lucky enough to visit Newport Beach, then you might know better. So what she's trying to say is these don't happen all the time. They don't. They do not happen all the time. This is a newer phenomenon that's happening, on coasts all over the planet, right? All over this country, all over everywhere. This is not something that does happen on a normal basis or on a frequent basis in Newport Beach. That's what she's trying to say. So he's saying it's just full moon high tide, but what it is a king tide exacerbated by climate change. Period. That's what it is. Because king tides have been happening more frequently all around the planet. And they're going to get worse. So they're not going to go away. There's not going to be oh, they were really bad this year, but they went, but next couple years they'll be fine. No, it's not going to happen like that. They're going to get worse every single year. There's going to be more king tides. If you live in Miami, you're going to see more king tides. If you live in LA or on the coast in California, you're going to see more king tides. Period. That's just baked in. That's just baked into the cake of climate change. Blue gold, exactly. Now imagine the oil coming off those engines. Exactly. And now they eat cake, right? I mean, for what it's worth, Balboa, this is a very, posh area. Newport Beach, very wealthy area. So that, the rich and the privileged are the ones getting smacked right now by that, which, I'm sorry if it affects somebody that I know, because I probably know people that live in Newport Beach, but that's the thing about climate change. It does not discriminate. It gets you whether you're rich or you're poor. So, just because you got a lot of money and you're like, oh my God, my Jeep, what's going on, QAnon? Tell me. Doesn't mean that you won't be affected by climate change too. Yes, Kuro, it is a psyop, totally. I actually used to follow Q quite a bit just to because it was interesting and I was just trying to see what was going on. Like, what is this thing about, right? I had questions. Super culty psyop, patriot, Christian culty psyop is what it is. So, and I have more things to say about it, but I'm not going to say them now because I don't really have time. Yeah, high tides must be caused by 5G. Funny. Yeah, I'm sorry, Catmandu. I'm sorry that that's happening. I'm not sure. It's either a glitch on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, on YouTube, or maybe I'm hoping that maybe tomorrow, if you come back tomorrow, that it'll be working better. Maybe it's just this particular chat is just glitchy. I apologize for that. I don't have anything to do with it. I can't fix it on my end, so I apologize. Well, yes, you're right. Rudel Zavedno, right. Rich can move. The rich can move. The rich can extricate themselves without, losing everything, and the poor die, or the poor lose everything. You're right. You're right about that. I'm just saying, a few years ago we had major wildfires that affected Malibu and a bunch of very, very wealthy area of California burned to the ground. Now, there was a lot of damage to things that, to working class people's enterprises, which is not good. There was damage to natural areas, not good. A very popular campground got burnt down. That was not good. But a lot of rich people's homes got seared too. So it's just, it doesn't discriminate. Let's see. Osama says patriotism is a willingness to kill and be killed for trivial reasons. Bertrand Russell, yes. LC, yeah, I'll totally do a conspiracy show, Kev, one of these days. Yeah, of course I will. I mean, I'm totally into conspiracies just to check out what's going on. Like, I'm interested in weird stories. The thing is you have to be open to the idea that some are very true and some are very false, right? And you have to really be diligent about what, you have to, you can't dismiss or believe all conspiracies as, you can't put them all in the same bucket. So that's all I'm trying to say. But yes, I will talk about that some more in the future. Let's realize too damn hot. Yeah, where are you at? I know you're in the Southwest somewhere. It's warm. Oceanic Estate, this will not become a Christian PSYOP channel now. No. Actually, you know what? Conspiracies are not really a big hobby of mine anymore. I'm kind of over it. I mean, it's interesting. I'm interested to hear weird stories or what people think, different ideas. Like, I'm into that, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. And I don't really have a lot of time anymore. So it's like, take it or leave it. Yes, and that's why, Osama, that's exactly why. No matter how paranoid or conspiracy-minded you are, what the government is actually doing is worse than you imagine. J. Edgar Hoover. Exactly. Right. So, for somebody who admitted that, and that's totally true. Okay, let's move on. This is from Zach Labe, talking about global mean sea surface temperature anomalies. So far this year, second highest on record. Data from NOAA averaged over January to June. This is where we're at. And he's going to give another good graph down here. 2020 sea ice departure. Sorry, things moving slow. I told you I was going to get another browser, and I didn't. So this is the anomaly global sea ice departure this year. Arctic going way down global, way down in July. And that's not a good sign because the Arctic, globally and, arctically, it's looking like a steep dive down, like a nosedive. We are in July, however. A little more about zombie fires. Zombie fires in the Arctic. Oh, you know what I wanted to read? Shoot. Well, zombie fires in the Arctic pump out carbon at record pace. Soaring temperatures that reached 38 degrees Celsius in the Arctic Circle reignited wildfires. This is from July 2nd. Wildfires that have raged in the Arctic Circle since early spring led to a record spike in pollution from the infernos last month. Arctic fires emitted 16.3 million metric tons of carbon, or about 60 million metric tons of carbon dioxide in June. Not good. That's the highest since at least 2003 and almost 9 times more than the same month in 2018. Good Lord. According to the data from Europe's Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service, the previous June record was registered last year. So we have the previous record was last year and the new record, this year, when fires were the worst on record. The Arctic region is heating twice as fast as the rest of the world, leading to sea ice melting faster than scientists forecast. The warm air spreading from Siberia across the Arctic doesn't directly cause wildfires, but coupled with low soil moisture levels and low precipitation, it can contribute to ripe conditions for fires to spread. Not good, guys. Let me tell you guys, I need to let you know that I'm not going to be on Environmental Coffee House tonight. That show is canceled. So I know some people were looking forward to that show, but some schedules got all like mixed up, and so it's not happening tonight. We're going to reschedule it for another day. Let's move on to... Oh, and again, please like the video, and we have 152 watching, and if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. Where are we at? I want to cover this. More about the Arctic. Rapid Arctic meltdown in Siberia alarms scientists. Again, more alarm at the high heat, the wildfires, etc. going on in Siberia. This is from July 3rd. Alexander Dayev can still taste the smoke from last year's wildfires that blanketed the towns near his home in southern Siberia. He is dreading their return. So this is a trend. This is not an anomaly because this has been happening. High Arctic anomalies, temperature anomalies have been happening over and over and over for at least the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and they seem to be persistent. That is not an anomaly. That indicates a trend towards hotter weather or global warming, if you will. Already this year, fires in the spring arrived earlier and with more ferocity, government officials said. In the territory where Dayev lives, fires were 3 times as large this April as the year before, and the hot, dry summer lies ahead. We are in early July, guys. In Siberia and across much of the Arctic, profound changes are unfolding more rapidly than scientists anticipated only a few years ago. Shifts that once seemed decades away are happening. When are they happening? Now. Remember when everything was supposed to go really haywire like 50 years from now? The year's 2020, and those things are happening right now. So I still don't understand these long-term projections for like, well, we're in big trouble in 2080. We always expected the Arctic to change faster than the rest of the globe. But I don't think anyone expected the changes to happen as fast as we are seeing them happen. That's Walt Meyer, a senior research scientist at the National Snow and Ice Data Center at the University of Colorado at Boulder. The temperatures occurring in the high Arctic during the past 15 years were not predicted to occur for 70 more years, he said. This is Vladimir Romanovsky. So you understand that. What they were predicting 10 years ago, a decade ago, or maybe 2 decades ago, were that these temperatures were going to happen in 70 years. So again, in 2070, 2080, 2090, it was going to be really bad. Well, it's right now. Right now, today. Neither Dallas nor Houston has hit 100 degrees yet this year, but in one of the coldest regions of the world, Siberia's pole of cold, the mercury climbed to 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit on June 20th. If confirmed, the record breaker in the remote Siberian town of Verkhoyansk, about 3,000 miles east of Moscow, would stand as the highest temperature in the Arctic since record keeping began in 1885. Siberia hotter than average in the first 5 months of the year. So it's not just happening in June. All 5 months have been, or 6 months now, have been way, way above normal. Triple-digit record was not a freak event either, but instead part of a searing heat wave. The average June high at that location is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what else to say. It's unraveling. The Arctic is unraveling. Right now. So I don't know, there is no, we got to work for a better future because the future is now. So, today, maybe save today and not save the future. What more do we have to know in order for this to be of utmost importance? Why are we not locking down our entire infrastructure or energy system in response to climate change, the way we lock down everybody in response to coronavirus? Why we're not doing that, it boggles my mind. I don't understand it. Because they all know. Everyone knows. The governments know. The scientists know. Everybody knows that climate change is a deadly disease, and it's going to get us all if we don't do something really dramatic and drastic. Hey guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can also support the channel at the links below: PayPal, Square, and Patreon. Also, all of my live streams are available for listening on Patreon if you happen to miss them during the day. So you can sign up for my Patreon for as little as $1. If you want to go check out the live streams, they are all there. Thanks a lot.